There's a moment in everyone's life when something inside of you snaps, not out of rage, but realization. You finally see the truth. Kindness without limits becomes self-destruction. I learned that lesson the hard way by watching my best friend fall apart. He was the kind of man who gave his all, who carried the pain of others like it was his own. He forgave betrayal, overlooked lies, and kept showing up for people who couldn't even remember his name a year later. He poured everything out until he had nothing left, not even himself. 3 years later, I saw him again, and he was unrecognizable. The light in his eyes hadn't gone out. It had changed. It was sharper, colder, wiser. He wasn't broken anymore. He was built differently. When I asked what happened, he smiled and said words that tattooed themselves onto my mind forever. The world didn't get kinder. I got stronger. I stopped being easy to break. That truth hit me harder than any punch life had ever thrown, because what he said wasn't just about him. It was about me. And it's about you too. Right now, inside every one of us, there are two versions fighting for control. The first is the version that explains itself endlessly, apologizes when it's not wrong, and keeps believing people will change if you just love them harder. This version bends, breaks, and hopes. It sacrifices peace for the illusion of belonging. It believes understanding will earn respect, but it never does. Then there's the second version, the one that doesn't beg or chase or argue. This version doesn't shout to be heard. It simply walks away without guilt, without explanation, without the need to prove a thing. It's the version that knows silence can be more powerful than words, and that not every fight deserves your energy. You've lived as the first version for too long, and it's been draining your spirit. It has made you gentle when you needed to be guarded, forgiving when you needed to be finished, and understanding when you needed to move on. Niccolo Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." People often misunderstand that. It's not about cruelty. It's about control. It's about knowing when to stop being the one who breaks for others. Today, we awaken your second version, the untouchable one, the one that doesn't need validation, the one who commands respect without asking for it. There are 8 internal transformations that separate the weak from the unshakable. Each one will burn away a layer of who you used to be, and yes, it will hurt. But if you stay with me until the end, you'll walk out of this reborn. You'll stop seeking peace from others and begin creating it within yourself. Because the truth is brutal. This world will break you unless you become ruthless. Before we dive in, write this down. Say it to yourself until it becomes your mantra. I will not break again. Stop giving yourself to the ungrateful. Your biggest weakness was never your heart. It was where you placed it. You've been offering your time, your energy, your compassion to people who treat it like it's disposable. You've been bleeding light into hands that only know how to take. You kept forgiving, kept explaining, kept hoping that maybe they'd change, but they never do. The truth is simple, yet harsh. In the psychology of power, what is given too freely loses value. When you make yourself endlessly available, you become invisible. People instinctively think that if you give too much, it's because you need to be liked. And the moment someone senses you need them, they own you. Weakness doesn't come from failure. It's born from emotional dependence dressed up as kindness. Machiavelli once said, "Men are quicker to offend one who is loved than one who is feared." People exploit goodness because they don't fear losing it. They know you'll forgive. They know you'll stay. And that predictability is the leash around your neck. Every time you tolerated disrespect, you taught them that you would. Every time you explained your worth, you admitted they had the right to question it. The truth? People remember consequences, not compassion. Kindness without boundaries invites manipulation. The ungrateful are predators in polite clothing. They hunt not your body, but your guilt. They twist your empathy until it's used against you. So hear me clearly. You owe nothing to anyone who couldn't appreciate you when you were giving your all. Your kindness is a privilege, not a right. Give it only to those who reciprocate with respect. For everyone else, let them feel the cold weight of your absence. Detachment is defense. Indifference is revenge. Machiavelli warned that most people are fickle, selfish, and deceitful. His message was simple. Never hand your power to the ungrateful. Being good will not save you in a world that worships power. Goodness without limits is a death sentence. Ruthlessness isn't cruelty, it's correction. It's the moment you stop rewarding betrayal with access. When you stop responding to every call, stop forgiving every lie, stop explaining every silence, people panic. Because now they can't feed off your reactions. That's when control shifts. You become the one who decides who stays and who fades. The world belongs to those who conserve their energy like gold, not those who waste it like confetti. Every drop of effort you pour into the wrong person steals from your future. Withdraw it. Reclaim it. Rebuild it. Let them wonder where your warmth went. Tell them it froze when you finally saw the truth. Some people deserve distance more than devotion. Repeat this until it lives in you. My kindness has limits. Transform pain into power. Pain is the purest truth teller you'll ever meet. It never lies, never flatters, and never lets you hide behind excuses. Pain tears you down until only the real you remains. The difference between the broken and the powerful isn't how much they've suffered, it's how they've used that suffering. Weak people drown in their pain because they keep demanding fairness. They wait for apologies that will never come. But the ruthless, the awakened, know the truth. Pain is currency. You either invest it to build yourself or you waste it complaining. Those who rise from ashes aren't lucky. They're intentional. They study their suffering. They ask, what is this trying to teach me about control? Every betrayal exposes who you trusted too easily. Every rejection reveals where you misplaced your value. Every loss dismantles the illusion that anything is permanent. Once you view pain as a teacher instead of a punishment, everything changes. The wound becomes a weapon. The heartbreak becomes a strategy. You start using pain to sharpen your focus instead of dulling your soul. Most people cry to feel better. The strong reflect to get better. The ruthless don't chase closure, they create transformation. They study their enemies instead of hating them. They turn every heartbreak into emotional discipline, every disappointment into concentration. This is the art of psychological warfare turned inward. When life burns you, it's refining you. Sit in the flames, feel them. Don't numb it, don't escape it, become familiar with it. Because once you've faced your own suffering and survived, nobody can use fear against you. Pain frees you from control. When guilt and rejection no longer manipulate you, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. The moment you stop fearing pain, you become unshakable. Machiavelli said that wise men learn more from misfortune than from comfort. Pain breeds awareness. It dissolves illusions. It forces evolution. You start seeing people not for who you wish they were, but for who they are. You stop reacting emotionally and begin responding logically. You walk like someone who's seen the worst and came back stronger. That kind of energy can't be faked. It commands respect because it carries the weight of survival. Your scars become symbols of strength, not shame. Your silence becomes heavy. Your eyes become steady. That's when you know you've crossed from being molded by pain to mastering it. The next time life tries to break you, don't resist it. Study it. Ask, what advantage is hidden in this? Every moment of agony carries a seed of dominance for those ruthless enough to use it. Say it out loud, my pain builds power. 3. Release the need to be understood. The craving to be understood is the invisible chain that binds greatness to mediocrity. You keep explaining yourself, hoping that one day people will finally see your intentions, your truth, your heart. But here's the reality. Most don't want to understand you. They want to define you, box you, simplify you into something they can control. People don't listen to comprehend, they listen to classify. And the more you explain, the more ammunition you hand them. In dark psychology, understanding equals control. When people understand your motives, they know exactly how to manipulate you. That's why the ruthless value silence. They let others assume, project, gossip, and in that fog of confusion, they remain untouchable. Machiavelli taught that a ruler should never over-explain, because explanation signals weakness. Power does not justify itself, it simply is. The most commanding people are those who move quietly. They don't justify why they left, why they changed, or why they stopped responding. Their silence creates tension, and tension breeds respect. Weak minds crave to be liked. Strong ones are comfortable being misunderstood. When you stop defending yourself, you stop bleeding energy. Every unnecessary explanation drains your authority. Transparency can become a trap because it invites dissection, and dissection always kills mystery. You owe no one an explanation for your standards, your silence, your distance, or your transformation. Let them call you arrogant. Let them say you've changed. Let them wonder what happened. Every false label becomes another layer of armor. Power lives in restraint. Silence isn't passivity, it's poise. It's a form of control that forces others to question themselves. When people can't predict you, they can't use you. So stop oversharing, stop defending, stop pleading to be seen. The right ones will understand your silence. The wrong ones never understood your words anyway. You are not here to be decoded. You're here to be felt. Say it with conviction. I no longer explain myself. Power is not always loud. In fact, true authority whispers. Think back to the most commanding people you've ever met. They didn't need to raise their voices or demand attention. It was granted to them automatically. Their stillness spoke volumes. Their composure silenced rooms. Their dominance came, not from aggression, but from an aura that said, I am unshakable. When they entered a space, everyone adjusted subconsciously. Their energy altered the air. That's the essence of psychological control, the quiet mastery of emotion, the unspoken command of presence. You must become that force, a presence that doesn't need to announce itself. A mystery that can't be fully read or easily understood. When someone tries to provoke you, your silence should suffocate their pride. When they misunderstand you, let them live with their own assumptions. Don't waste truth trying to convince those who feed on confusion. Remember this: not everyone deserves to understand you. Those who truly value you never demand explanations. Power is not in persuading the world. It's in being so grounded that misunderstanding no longer bothers you. When you stop chasing validation, you begin to meet your true self. Let your silence roar louder than justification. Repeat this until it settles in your bones. My silence carries power. Detachment is your next transformation. Never beg for love, attention, or closure. The more you chase what's retreating, the smaller you appear in the eyes of those who were never worthy of your pursuit. Real detachment isn't coldness. It's control. It's the sacred art of walking away from anything that disturbs your dignity, no matter how deeply you once desired it. People often confuse attachment with loyalty, but they are opposites. Loyalty is strength. It stands tall even in silence. Attachment is weakness. It clings because it's afraid to stand alone. Society glorifies persistence, tells you to fight for people. But the truth is this: when you chase, you surrender your power. The one who begs becomes the one who bleeds. Machiavelli said that a person who cannot rule their own emotions can never rule anything beyond themselves. Emotional chaos makes you easy prey for manipulation. The ruthless detach not because they lack a heart, but because they refuse to be owned by it. When someone pulls away, they don't argue or plead, they watch. When someone disrespects them, they don't explain. They vanish. Their silence becomes a sword, their absence a lesson. In a world where manipulation thrives on emotional reaction, detachment is rebellion. It terrifies controllers because it steals their greatest weapon, your reaction. Once you stop responding, they lose access to your mind. When people can't predict your next move, they start to fear you. The truly powerful don't rage or beg. They radiate indifference. Indifference burns colder than anger and lasts longer than affection. The moment your energy shifts from chasing to choosing, everything changes. The ones who once ignored you will feel the weight of your absence. Your silence will echo louder than confrontation ever could. Detachment grants authority, the quiet ability to walk away from chaos and still carry your peace like a crown. Machiavelli believed that mastery of emotion is the cornerstone of all leadership. Those who can't detach will always be puppets of those who can. Humans are driven by two forces, love and fear. Master both, and you become unstoppable. Not every emotion deserves expression. Not every relationship deserves revival. Not every person deserves access. Learn to step back without announcement. Learn to close doors quietly and let the distance speak for you. This is psychological strategy in its most elegant form, subtle, sharp, untraceable. The more detached you become, the more powerful you grow. You start realizing that peace doesn't come from connection, it comes from control. True power is the ability to love deeply, but walk away instantly when your self-respect is at risk. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally care about the right person, yourself. Because once you stop begging, you stop bleeding. Say it with conviction. I choose peace over people. Boundaries are your invisible armor. They separate strength from chaos. Without them, your life becomes a playground for those who seek to take without giving. The world has conditioned you to think saying no makes you selfish, but the truth is, never saying it makes you self-destructive. Every time you allow disrespect in the name of love, every time you excuse betrayal to keep peace, you chip away at your own worth. Boundaries aren't walls built from bitterness. They're gates that guard your soul. Weak people believe tolerance equals kindness. The strong know that tolerance without limits is weakness disguised as virtue. A heart without armor invites arrows. Machiavelli once said that a ruler who cannot protect himself cannot govern wisely. The world doesn't honor openness, it exploits it. Those who flatter you today will weaponize your forgiveness tomorrow. People always test the limits that you refuse to enforce. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. They remove confusion. They reveal truth. When you calmly say no without explanation, you project confidence. When you deny access to those who betrayed you, you send a message. Your worth is not up for negotiation. Power doesn't argue about respect. It demonstrates it. Forgiveness without consequence is submission. Mercy without structure is chaos. When you stop rewarding bad behavior with your time, you start commanding silence from those who once thrived on your attention. The insecure will call it arrogance. The weak will label it ego. But those with wisdom will see it for what it is, self-command. Machiavelli said that those who allow themselves to be deceived deserve to be deceived. You teach others how to treat you through what you tolerate. The moment you protect your space like a fortress, the wrong people disappear and the right ones stay. Boundaries are filters. They separate the genuine from the opportunistic. They make your presence precious instead of accessible. Living without them is living without dignity. Living with them is walking in quiet power. Remember this: kindness without limits leads to destruction. Boundaries are not walls of fear, they're fences of wisdom. You don't set them to keep people out. You set them to keep your peace in. Every no you speak is a declaration. This is where my peace begins. Those who truly respect you will never ask you to lower your guard. They'll honor it. Say it proudly. My boundaries protect me. Now silence, your sharpest weapon. Words lose meaning when they're used carelessly. The most powerful minds understand that silence can wound deeper than speech ever could. Most people talk endlessly to mask insecurity, to fill the air, to sound significant. But the more you speak, the more you reveal, and revelation is vulnerability. Silence, however, is strategy. It confuses, it disarms, and it forces others to expose themselves. Machiavelli warned, never reveal all your thoughts. When others can read your emotions, they can predict your actions. And when they can predict you, they can control you. Silence makes you unreadable. It builds an aura that keeps people guessing. The quietest person in the room often holds the most control, because stillness breeds curiosity, and curiosity breeds caution. Silence is not emptiness, it's psychological leverage. It lets others fill the gaps with their own insecurities. When you stay quiet, people project their fears onto you. They wonder what you're thinking, what you'll do next. And that uncertainty becomes your armor. Every pause is power. Every withheld word increases your mystery. The strong speak when it's time to strike, not when it's time to be heard. Every conversation is a battlefield. The one who listens longest wins. In a world addicted to noise, restraint becomes rebellion. Silence is not retreat, it's preparation. Let others expose themselves while you observe. Let them underestimate your calm. It will be their downfall. Silence creates an invisible dominance. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. You don't have to defend yourself to prove your worth. The louder someone talks, the less power they hold. The silent ones, they already possess it. The great rulers of history understood that mystery commands obedience. When people don't know your intentions, they fear disappointing you. So learn to weaponize calm. When insulted, stay silent and let them drown in their guilt. When provoked, do not react. Your composure will torment them. The stillness of your spirit will become unbearable to those who thrive on chaos. In stillness lies control. Power doesn't beg to be understood, it demands to be felt. The moment you master silence, you master perception. You stop defending and start directing. Say it. My silence controls chaos. Finally, let's talk about loyalty, the most misunderstood virtue of all. Loyalty is only valuable when it's chosen with wisdom. Blind devotion is not strength. It's surrender. Machiavelli warned centuries ago that people are fickle, ungrateful, and self-serving. To expect unwavering loyalty from the world is to set yourself up for betrayal. True power belongs to those who know when to align and when to detach. The world doesn't move by purity, it moves by purpose. The moment you give unconditional loyalty to anyone without discernment, whether a partner, a friend, or a leader, you hand them your power. They stop respecting you and start expecting you. Predictability is death in the arena of power. Strategic loyalty is not betrayal, it's survival. The wise remain loyal only as long as it aligns with their growth, peace, and principles. When it no longer does, they withdraw quietly. Most people remain loyal out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of being labeled disloyal, fear of starting over. But those who master power know this. Loyalty is sacred because it's rare, and it should never be given without reason. Conditional loyalty is not manipulation, it's self-respect. Give loyalty like currency. Invest it where it multiplies in value, not where it's wasted. The ruthless remain kind, but never naive. Devoted, but never dependent. They know that trust must be earned, and once broken, it doesn't regenerate. It disintegrates. The powerful never beg for allegiance. They inspire it. The truth is this: those who deserve your loyalty will never demand it. They will prove themselves through consistency, respect, and reciprocity. Everyone else deserves your distance. So remember this: the world doesn't reward the loud, the reactive, or the desperate. It bows silently to those who have mastered restraint, detachment, and selective loyalty. Power is not about domination, it's about direction. Control your emotions, guard your peace, and move with purpose. Let your silence confuse, your absence teach, and your composure intimidate. Because the moment you stop explaining, chasing, and overgiving, you don't just regain power. You become it. The fear of losing people's approval is one of the oldest prisons of the human mind. It's the invisible chain that keeps many loyal to the wrong masters, apologetic to the wrong crowds, and attached to people who would abandon them the moment their usefulness fades. The tragedy is that those who crave acceptance the most are often the first to be replaced, the first to be betrayed, and the easiest to discard once they no longer serve a purpose. The truly powerful understand something deeper. Allegiance should never belong to individuals. It should belong to opportunity. Power players don't attach themselves to people. They attach themselves to progress, to strategy, to timing. They understand that alliances shift like seasons, that what serves them today may destroy them tomorrow. Instead of resisting change, they adapt to it. They surf its waves rather than drown beneath them. Loyalty in this world is not a permanent tattoo. It is a mask. You wear it when it serves your advancement, and you remove it when it begins to cost you your freedom. This isn't heartlessness, it's intelligence. It's the realism that comes from seeing the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Life doesn't reward the overly emotional. It rewards the strategic. Those who let feelings dictate decisions are the ones who get manipulated by those who think. Ahead, Niccolò Machiavelli once warned that no wise person should ever make themselves completely dependent on one person or one thing, for dependence kills autonomy, and autonomy is the heartbeat of dominance. Never let the world know where your loyalty truly lies. Let them believe you're on their side while you remain inwardly free, always capable of shifting your sails when the wind changes. The illusion of loyalty often holds more influence than loyalty itself. It keeps others secure while ensuring you remain untouchable. In politics, in business, even in personal life, this principle builds empires. History is filled with fallen kings who trusted too deeply, generals who were destroyed by those they served, and friends who became enemies when equality clashed with hierarchy. When you're too loyal, you stop inspiring respect. Instead, you invite testing. People begin to overstep, exploit, and assume that no matter how they treat you, you'll stay. They stop fearing your withdrawal, and fear, more than love, maintains order. Respect is not built on devotion. It's built on the understanding that your loyalty is conditional, that you can walk away without hesitation. When people know that losing you carries a consequence, they treat your presence as privilege rather than entitlement. That's the essence of commanding respect. Your loyalty must become a blade, not a gift. It should be sharp, deliberate, and used only when it serves your advancement. Gifts are forgotten, but weapons are remembered. Be the kind of person whose loyalty cuts through deception and ignorance, not the kind who offers it freely to anyone who smiles at them. That unpredictability, never allowing others to fully read or predict your allegiance, is your ultimate psychological advantage. People can't control what they can't define. And that's the core of Machiavellian strength, to remain a mystery in full view. You appear loyal, but your sovereignty lies untouched beneath the surface. The modern world may call this cold or heartless, but those are the words of the powerless, the same people who glorify loyalty to the very ones who betrayed them. Remember this always: loyalty without intelligence is self-sabotage. You owe nothing to those who wouldn't stand for you when it costs them something. Your devotion belongs first and foremost to your mission, your evolution, your higher purpose, not to transient faces that fade with convenience. People will come and go, but your purpose must remain immovable. And that brings us to the final transformation: becoming untouchable. To become untouchable is to reach the highest level of internal mastery, to evolve into someone immune to insult, betrayal, and manipulation. It doesn't mean you become cruel or emotionless. It means you rise above reaction. It's not about arrogance. It's about autonomy. You own yourself completely. The world will always test you. Chaos will always arrive uninvited. People will provoke you just to see if they can shake your peace. The fragile will break. The fearful will react. The unaware will crumble. But the untouchable, they move differently. They glide through turmoil like shadows over fire, untouched, unshaken, and unwavering. Machiavelli once said that only a wise person can truly govern themselves, because the one ruled by others' emotions will never be free. Freedom begins with mastery of your own mind. The path to becoming untouchable starts with abandoning your dependence on approval, affection, and validation. These are illusions that enslave the masses. They are leashes disguised as love. The more you chase them, the weaker you become. The world doesn't reward those who are kind without boundaries or virtuous without vision. It honors those who embody self-possession, those who carry unshakable clarity, who operate with reason rather than desperation. When you stop feeding your self-worth with external validation, you reclaim your energy. That reclaimed energy becomes a fortress around you, one that manipulation cannot penetrate. The untouchable are architects of themselves. They build their confidence like a fortress, brick by brick, formed from discipline, skill, and endurance. They invest in their craft instead of chasing compliments. They cultivate patience where others crave speed. They practice restraint where others explode in emotion. They carry a quiet confidence that doesn't need witnesses. Their power is not announced, it is felt. Their respect is not demanded. It is earned through consistent strength. The truly untouchable don't need to speak to prove their worth. Their presence does it for them. Psychological law dictates that people fear what they cannot control. Once you detach from the need to be understood, accepted, or loved, you become an enigma. You become unreadable, unpredictable, ungovernable. No one can manipulate what they cannot measure. The moment you stop reacting emotionally, you break the chains others once used to control you. The untouchable move through life with deliberate grace. Every reaction is strategic. Every silence, intentional. Every word, calculated. Anger doesn't dictate their path. Strategy does. Fear holds no seat at their table, and desire serves discipline, not the other way around. They become the calm center of chaos, the eye of the storm that cannot be moved. Machiavelli once wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. Fear in this sense isn't about cruelty, it's about command. It's the aura that tells the world, "Cross me at your peril." True untouchability means that others hesitate before deceiving you. It means you no longer provide access to those who haven't earned it. No insult can wound you, no betrayal can unbalance you, and no manipulation can redirect your focus. Why? Because you no longer operate from ego. You no longer reflect the opinions of others. You are your own reflection. You have become whole, not through validation, but through self-discipline and clarity of purpose. To reach this level, you must let go of your final attachments, the compulsion to explain yourself, the addiction to forgiveness without boundaries, and the hunger to be recognized by those who don't deserve to witness your light. You must transcend resentment, release attachment, and dissolve expectation. The untouchable understand impermanence. They know that everything external, money, status, affection, is fleeting. So they anchor themselves internally to principles that cannot be moved. And once you find that inner anchor, the storms of life no longer shake you. When you reach that state, power stops being something you chase. It becomes something you are. People sense it instinctively. They may not understand it, but they will respect it or fear it. They may talk about you, but they will never forget you. Because untouchability commands presence even in absence. You are no longer a piece on someone else's board. You are the board. You are the ruler of your own domain. You've mastered the only empire that truly matters, yourself. Repeat this affirmation with conviction. Nothing can break me. The world will test you. It always will. It will betray your trust, exploit your kindness, and punish your hope. It will teach you that fairness is a myth and that stability is an illusion. But that's not a curse, it's a revelation. Because once you see through it, you stop playing the victim. You stop giving your power away. For too long, you've let others dictate your peace, handing your energy to those unworthy of it. You've sought to be understood by minds too small to comprehend your depth. You've begged for closure from those who never intended to give it. You've carried loyalty for people who would never carry it for you. But all that ends now. You've learned the lessons that turn wounds into wisdom. You've learned to stop giving your power to the ungrateful. You've taken your pain and forged it into power. You've stopped begging to be understood and learned to move in silence. You've cut off the attachments that drain you. You've built boundaries that protect you. You've mastered restraint, silence, and selective loyalty. And now, you've ascended. You've become untouchable. This transformation isn't luck. It's earned. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every silence taught you something vital about your own resilience. Every loss carved wisdom into your bones. Every rejection redirected your focus. Step by step, the world tried to break you, but instead, it built you. Machiavelli once said that the wise act immediately while the foolish delay. Today, you've chosen wisdom. You've chosen control. You've chosen the path of the composed, the strategic, the ruthless in discipline, but pure in purpose. This is the version of you that the world cannot shake. The road ahead won't be easy. It's not meant to be. Challenges will come, not to punish you, but to polish you. Every hardship will become a tool. Every disappointment will become a test of your mastery. Every attempt to manipulate you will prove your strength. The untouchable aren't born. They're forged, tempered by pain, refined by awareness, and sharpened by strategy. Stand tall in this truth. Move with quiet purpose. Walk with the dignity of someone who owes no apology for their strength. Lead without asking permission. Command without ever needing to announce it. And when the world finally takes notice, and it will see not the person who bent, but the one who rebuilt themselves from fire. You will be the storm they didn't expect, and the calm they cannot comprehend. You are not what breaks. You are what remains when everything else does. Say it again until it becomes your truth. I am untouchable now.